It was men versus boys, it was master versus apprentice. It was the blue side of Manchester versus the red side of Manchester. And once again, as expected, as predicted, the blue side of Manchester prevailed. Who is going to stop Manchester City? Is it Liverpool? Is it Arsenal? But definitely not Manchester United. Welcome to another beautiful brand new edition of Sports Pizza. And I'm sure you had a fantastic weekend. Hope your week has also started on a fruitful footing. My name is Edwin Onyebolise. You know how we do it on the show. We give you nothing but the absolute best when it comes to sports information, education, and of course, top-notch analysis. On the show today, we will be talking about Rivers United and their conquest in the CAF Confederations Cup. There's plenty from the world of Formula One, where Mad Max Verstappen and Red Bull started on a fantastic fashion. In European football, there were games across Europe, top games across Europe, but our focus today will be on the Manchester derby, what is happening in the German Bundesliga and also the Spanish La Liga. I'm not alone in the building. I have David Abe with me. Together we'll be delving into all that we have in store for you. But first, let's catch our breath, go on a break. When we come back, we'll kick off the show from the home front. They say charity begins at home. All right, welcome back. It is Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolise. If you're joining us for the very first time, Abe, good to have you. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Edwin. Always a pleasure.
How's your week been?
Well, it's been good. It's been very good. There's sports going on all around. And then also, well, life has been good generally. Thank God for everything.
All right, talking about life being good, let us start off with Rivers United. The odds were against them. First, they needed to defeat Dreams of Ghana. Also, they needed Club Africain to drop points. But when it felt like the odds were going against them, suddenly the god of football just smiled on Rivers United. They got that late winner, coupled with the drop points from Club Africain. He ensured that they qualify for the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very good one for them. You know, sometimes they say you make your own luck. At a point in time, that game looked like it was going to end in a draw, and then their chances of qualifying. But everything that conspired to make them qualify happened. You know, they dropped points at Club Africa, and then also getting that. It was in the 90 plus 10 minutes. I think that's the first time in a long time I've seen that kind of stoppage time in African football. So I think it's good. It was a good one for them. They took advantage of the opportunity. I think what happened was they kept plugging in. I just knew that we needed to win and then do what we have to do, what is in our own hands, and they did well.
Are you confident going into the quarterfinals? How far can they go? What are the prospects of Rivers United getting past the formidable oppositions in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, absolutely. So at this point, competitions like this, it's not in their hands. It's sometimes the luck of the draw, and also if they're able to avoid some of the traditional powerhouses on the continent. But I don't think they have enough. I think they would get to probably the quarterfinal might be their bust up. I'm very sorry to say, but that's the way I see it, because they might not be able to do enough, to get across the line. Nigerian teams over the course of the past few years have not done very well on the continent, and the fact that Rivers United are our only contender on the continent is a big pointer to that. All right,
teams they could possibly face in the quarterfinals. You have USM Alger of Algeria. There's Zamalek of Egypt. We also have RS Berkane, defending champions of this particular competition. So the odds, like I said, are stacked against Rivers United. The North African side once again dominating the scene on the continent.
Absolutely, Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. And it feels like African football is in that part of the world. They keep getting it right on the club stage, and that's why they are doing well. We just need to copy one or two things from them, a few of their templates, and we'll get it right. But for now, power is in their hands.
In the CAF Champions League, Mamelodi Sundowns, TP Mazembe, ASEC Mimosa, Simba, Petro Atletico, Esperance of Tunis, Adlali, and Young Africans are through to the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League. Still on the home scene, David, the vacant Super Eagles coaching position, Jose Pesero said his goodbye. It was a heartfelt open letter to the team, to the NFF, and of course his assistants. Where should the next coach come from? Three options: retain Jose Peseiro, look inward, local coaches, maybe not the NPFL, but names like Finidi George was part of the coaching setup. Amunike also a part of the coaching setup. Or maybe you look outside, you look abroad.
Yeah. So I came across a conspiracy theory on social media. I guess that's what you alluded to. The fact that Peseiro's statement was a veiled, trying to push the NFF, force their hands. But I think if there's a possibility of retaining him, that works. But if that's not the option, I think the best option, in my own opinion, would be a foreign manager going on in Europe, or maybe even on the continent, some of the best hands, like somebody like Jamel Belmadi of Algeria. Fine, he didn't do well over the last. But
I have question marks on that name, asterisks on that name.
Okay.
He's taking the last two AFCON.
Yeah.
They existed at group stage. Yes, I know he won the African Cup of Nations in 2019, but for how long are we going to bank on the 2019 exploit?
All right, so there's Regragui of Morocco, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. But if we are going to Europe, I saw a very funny name. I don't know how true. I saw Laurent Blanc.
Yeah.
It seems like a good option. It seems like a very good option.
Yeah, Laurent Blanc is not
currently employed.
It's not currently, but again, number one, we need to get a coach that the players will respect, whether we like it or not. These guys earn top dollar.
Yeah.
These guys are massive. They have massive following. You need someone who can match their ego.
Yeah.
That is one. Secondly, hey, this whole issue of the coach hasn't been paid. We have no money. Blah blah. The NFF has to stop it, and we need to start looking at the NFF with regards to generating funds for the Super Eagles. I don't think any serious footballing country relies on the government for financial assistance or sustainability. You need the Eagles is a big brand. You sell the brand, monetize the team, make money off the Super Eagles. Look at Brazil.
Absolutely.
There are friendly games. They're going to face England and Spain in later this month, and you get a feeling that in the coming months they'll still have high-profile friendly games to face the Brazilian team.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Teams are on queue. Despite not being
the best
in the last decade or so, the Brazilian team is still top notch. Same with England, same with Spain. We need to monetize the brand that is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. All right, let's leave the home front. Let's go to the world of Formula One. Yes, the curtain raiser in Bahrain. By the way, for those who don't know, the first two races will be held on Saturday as against the customary Sunday. Why? The holy month of Ramadan starts next week, and the FIA deemed it fit to put it a day behind to allow those countries prepare for the holy month of Ramadan. That's why the Bahrain Grand Prix was held on Saturday, and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix will be held on Saturday as well. But once again, Red Bull laid down the marker. All of the whole Christian Horner controversy, Max Verstappen was clear ahead of the chasing pack.
Absolutely. It was not just Max Verstappen. Sergio Perez also is a Red Bull 1-2. You know how many times we saw that over the course of last season? They picked up exactly where they left off. No drop-off in quality, no drop-off in... there was a lot of talk about how Christian Horner's the whole fiasco would affect the team, but they just got on the track and did what they needed to do. And then the fact that their opponents, the Ferrari guys, also conspired to, a lot of mistakes along the way from Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. But I think they are setting down a marker that this season they are also going to do exactly what they did last season. Yeah,
I also get a feeling that we get to a point where the lower side of the table becomes more interesting than the top side, because it's going to open a huge gap. Then we'll start seeing the likes of Charles Leclerc, the likes of Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Carlos Sainz. In fact, I'll probably drop in Sergio Perez amongst that chasing pack, looking to finish second, third, fourth, fifth. But I think it's going to be an interesting season. Verstappen, of course, is heavy favourites to retain his title and go on to win his fourth F1 Drivers' Championship. Ironic. We're just starting the season and he's already heavy favourites. Interesting there. All right, it's time to go on a break. When we come back, we'll switch focus back to football, and this time we're starting with the Manchester derby. It's men versus boys. How long does Eric Ten Hag have at Manchester United? All right, welcome back. It's still Sports Pizza. Remember to follow us on our social media handles at Sports Pizza. David, Manchester derby, as expected. The results, as expected, the performance. But once again, if you're a Manchester United fan, it's a pain reminder. United used to be in the position where City are currently in, while City used to be in the position United are currently in. I'm not going to dwell too much on the performance of the team, but for United, what must they do to get back to reckoning? What must they do to get back to City's level, to Liverpool's level? And how long do you think it's going to take United to get back to that level?
So when you look at the last time United won the league title, they had Sir Alex Ferguson and David Hill as the chairman. And then it seems like right from that point, administratively, things went off the boil. And then they started getting a lot of mediocre players, and then the quality started to drop over the years. So it's a gradual process until where we got to where they are, and the managers coming in and bringing. So I think it might take a few years. I cannot give an exact time frame, but if they get, it seems like with Radcliffe coming in now, and the Brewsport, it seems like they are trying to put things in order administratively. Then the way they played over the weekend was what we already come to expect. They sit back against Sheffield United, they sit back against Fulham. They will do the same against Manchester City, and I think it's Ten Hag's fault tactically, and I think manager needs to go. Administratively, I think they're getting it right. Then also players, a lot of these players need to go. So I think, but it will take a few years. If they can get all these things right, then they will move forward.
For Manchester City, are these your favorites? It's Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal. Are they favorites? Yeah. We've seen them time and again the last couple of seasons where they go on a run. But it feels like Liverpool are giving them a run for the money. And for Liverpool, a couple of players are back. Szoboszlai is back in the side. Darwin Núñez with that late winning goal. And Arsenal, as expected, in and amongst. If you're to put a percentage on the top three, how would you divide it? Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal.
So I think Manchester City still have a 55% chance of winning it. It's that high, but it's when you've won 4 of the last 5 titles, it's a big deal. It's quite a big deal. So I think Manchester City have 55%, then I think Liverpool have a 35% chance, and then the remaining is left for Arsenal. It's hard to say.
So that's 10%.
Yeah, that's what it is.
For Arsenal. All right, talking about Liverpool and Manchester City, it's a huge showdown at Anfield this weekend. Liverpool, a win for them will extend the gap to 4 points. They lose and City usurp them. A draw, then Arsenal have the chance to catch up with them. How do you see this panning out?
So I think at this point we can call this a proper title decider, So I think Liverpool look like they can get results, but with the way they play, they've not been too outstanding, but they've managed to get results. I think the club whole drama with club is pushing them over the line. But against a team like City, fine as Anfield, they will not lose, but I expect the worst they will get is a draw in that game.
Do you think that there is a, maybe, I'm trying to use my words carefully. Do you think there are forces that want this club fairy tale to end in a Liverpool title win? Because some decisions that have gone in favor of Liverpool has sent tongues wagging. You have people talking, you have fans on social media commenting. In fact, you saw the game against Nottingham Forest where the chairman of Nottingham Forest ran into the tunnel, berating the referee. I do not condone it, but we've seen decisions like this. Do you think there's maybe something subtle, someone trying to pull the strings to ensure that Liverpool win the title? So
it's been a long time conspiracy in the Premier League. One thing I berate officials from the Premier League, they try to balance out decisions. They don't look at decisions based on the merit of that. So I think the whole fiasco of the Tottenham drama where they had a goal, Liverpool had a goal this side, I think since that time they've been trying to balance out for Liverpool. If you look at most 50-50 calls go in their favour. The Nottingham Forest results, I don't think it's that, because Nottingham Forest had opportunity to clear that ball. Also, Odoi and Awuni have their hands on their head. They should have cleared that ball at that point. But Liverpool took advantage of it. A lot of people say, okay, the 8 minutes was not justified, but it's football. But I think probably spiritual powers or powers behind the scenes that we can't see. But on the pitch, Well, I think they actually, you put yourself in a position where things happen in your favor. So I think they have that in their own favor too.
All right, more controversies, but this time it was Adam Mestalla. Real Madrid from the brink of defeat, salvaged a point and thought they got what could have been 3 points. Where do you stand on this? Was it a right call? Was it a wrong call? Was the referee in the wrong? Where do you, because I've seen it time and again. While there's no law backing this discretion, I felt the referee could have handled it better. If you wanted to blow immediately after the corner kick was taken, the moment the Valencia put the ball, you should have sounded the whistle. Where do you stand?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think the referees, because it's not England, there seems to be a lot of tendency to overlook some of this. But the referees in Spain have been very poor also, and I think Florentino Perez and a lot of coaches, a lot of managers have come out to berate the referees in the league. And I think he should have. They have discretion quite alright, but he didn't use his discretion well. Let's just put it that way. The moment Valencia cleared the ball out, he should have. But the fact he allowed Madrid to recycle, of course, he knew an attack was going to Madrid were trying to get a winner. So I think he made a mistake in that, and he has to own up to that mistake. All
right, still with the Valencia Real Madrid game. There seems to be some controversy also about the added time. Referee put up 7 minutes, he played into 9 minutes, blah, 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 blah. So let me just set it straight. With added time, when you see, for example, the Valencia Real Madrid game, once the fourth official raises the board and it indicates a certain amount of time, in the case of Valencia Real Madrid, 7 minutes, it means it is the minimum amount of time that will be played. It means they play at least 7 minutes. It could be more, but definitely not less. But in the spirit of fair play, I think the referee's discretion comes into play. So while we can go above 7 minutes, it makes no sense to go 10, 11 minutes. It makes no sense. So, like I said, in the spirit of fair play, 7, 8 minutes max. In the extreme cases, 9 minutes. Understandable. But also, don't forget that there was a penalty incident that went to VAR. It took time. So that was why the game stretched into 9 minutes. I just wanted clarity. You can also see it in the rules of the game. Law 7. Just go down law 7, the interpretation of that law. You see what it has to do with added time. All right, still with football in the Italian Serie A. Napoli versus Juventus, and Raspadori spared the blushes of Victor Osimhen. Ended 2-1, but hey, it was painful for Juventus. They should have gotten something from this game.
Absolutely. The game started quite, a little bit, a lot of errors, especially in midfield. I think Juventus had a lot of injured players. McKennie was injured, and so they had a lot of lapses in midfield. But over the course of, they grew in the game, and then Vlahovic missed some clear chances. But the fact that Osimhen cannot take penalties, I still don't understand why. Raspadori spared his blush is good for him. They got it, and that's 5 wins now in a row at home against Juventus. So which means it was probably not an unexpected result. I think Calzano is doing a very good job. He has been able to at least steady the ship since his appointment.
All right, away from the Italian Serie A, let's go to the Bundesliga. 10 points separate Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. Normally, this was supposed to be Bayern Munich 10 points ahead of whoever is in second place. Can you, in a few seconds or minutes, describe what has happened in the German Bundesliga? What Leverkusen are about to achieve? What Xabi Alonso is about to achieve?
Yeah, so that's 11 titles in a row for Bayern Munich. It's about to come 11 years in a row. They've not been challenged as much as this. So I think for them to be 10 points behind means the fall-off has been dropped. And then Leverkusen have also performed remarkably well over the course of this season. It's been very excellent what they've done. And the fact that the 2 goals they scored in their game over the weekend were scored by their fullback encapsulates exactly what Xabi Alonso's system is all about. So I think Bayern, there's a very funny fact. Kingsley Coman has won a title in every season of his professional career. Kane has not won any title. So I think one of these records is good. But it looks more likely that it's the Kane's record that is set to continue. So it's really remarkable what Leverkusen have done this season. It's something that when they win this league this season, which I think they will, it's going to resonate for years to come, to break the dominance of Bayern. Not Dortmund, not the way they dominated the league then, for Leverkusen to just knock them off their perch the way it is. It's just remarkable.
Quickly, could the Bayern board have done something earlier to salvage this season? Because at some point it was clear that the players were not playing for the coach, the players were not listening to the coach. Could they have brought in someone, try to salvage the season, motivate the boys, and have a final push?
Absolutely. I think they could have. Tuchel should have gone a long time ago. And I think the fact that the players they have are enough, they are quality enough to, they've done it over the years, they are quality enough to win the Bundesliga. But the Bayern board, folded their hands and felt, okay, we can still Bayern our way to another title. But they didn't envisage Leverkusen going as far as they've gone this season.
All right, that's how much we can take on today's edition of Sports Pizza. They say time flies when you are having fun. We'll leave you with our video of the week. Do remember to follow our social media handles at Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolis. David, thanks for being around once again.
It's a pleasure.
All right, we'll be back same time next week. Do have fun. God bless you.